Hey everybody, it's Bruce here with Traveling with Bruce. Welcome to my video today. We have some cruise news coming your way for today's date, August the 26th, 2020. The news today is all about Royal Caribbean and Carnival. The two cruise lines have come into focus today. There are a lot of rumors bandying about right now about the future of a number of their ships. We do know that Carnival was looking to pare down their fleet. We know they have already scrapped a few of their ships and transferred other ships to other lines. And now there's another ship within the Carnival family that might be on the move. And also at Royal Caribbean, they made a big deal today about announcing that the Grandeur of the Seas will not be sold off by the company. The Grandeur of the Seas was originally supposed to go to Pullmantur Cruising in March of 2021, but that deal fell apart when Pullmantur basically filed for bankruptcy, and all three of their ships are to be scrapped in Turkey. So now the Grandeur will not be transferred out of Royal Caribbean. They say that the ship will basically stay in the fleet. The Carnival story right here, it's about the ship called the Carnival Imagination. Now, this ship was originally built in 1995. She's one of those fantasy class ships. She can hold 2,462 people at maximum occupancy, but as you can see here, this image, there are virtually no balconies for this ship. There are very few balconies. They've made a few additions over the years to try to jazz this ship up a bit, but as a 25-year-old ship, it is really showing its age, and it is just it's impossible to really bring this ship up to current, say, day standards. And so the future here is the ship apparently right now is in Curacao. It has filed a plan to sail to Turkey. Its next stop is supposed to be Aliaga, Turkey, and that means game over. It looks like this ship, if it's going to Aliaga, Turkey, it will be scrapped there, because that is where the scrap yards are for cruise ships. The two ships have already arrived from Carnival, the Carnival Inspiration and the Carnival Fantasy. They arrived about a month ago, and it looks now like the Inspiration, or the Imagination, is going to join in, unfortunately, to that party, the end of the line for this ship. You can't book a cruise on it, by the way. There are no listings available. Now, this image right here, you see that circle around that green triangle? That is the Majesty of the Seas from Royal Caribbean. There is a ton of rampant speculation going on. That ship right now is sailing to Malta. Here's today's image. It's now off the coast of Portugal. It's going to head past the Strait of Gibraltar. It's going to Malta. They're just below the boot of Italy and Sicily. Now, the other green dot you'll see over there, that is the Empress of the Seas. And the Empress of the Seas is less than 200 miles away from Aliaga, Turkey. And so the question now among a lot of Royal Caribbean watchers is, all right, we know that the Grandeur of the Seas, they insist, will not be scrapped or sold. What about the Majesty of the Seas? This ship was built in 1992. It has virtually no balconies. It can handle up to 2,744 people. And again, it's one of the oldest ships in the fleet, 28 years, and it is heading for Malta. And that generally indicates lately, if you're heading to Malta, you might be going there. The ship might get stripped of its valuables, and it might then head to Turkey for scrappage. Here's a shot of the Empress of the Seas sitting beside, I believe, the Oasis of the Seas. You can get an idea of how small the Empress of the Seas is. This ship, built in 1990, holds 2,020 passengers at absolute maximum capacity. Same thing, virtually a handful of balconies, really, just a handful of balconies. Most of the suites on this ship, most of the cabins are inside cabins, ocean view cabins. And this ship has been within 200 miles of Aliaga in Turkey now for over a month and a half. And everybody who's a fan of this ship is watching the Cruise Mapper site and others to see if the ship is moving at all. and if it's going anywhere. And I just don't know if there's a future for the Empress of the Seas. Here it is again beside the Oasis of the Seas. You can just get an idea of just how small the ship is compared to the monster. The big ship there can operate at 35-40% capacity, break even, and even make money. The little one, she has to be 3/4 full or more, and I don't know if that's really going to happen. It's a slow motion death, I guess, is what we're dealing with here. We're just patiently waiting out the cruise lines to tell us what they're going to do. We have heard more and more cruise lines now are canceling cruises into 2021. This morning, Princess Cruises announced that they are canceling 2 of their ships' itineraries that had world cruises planned. Those are no longer happening anymore because the cruise lines are basically admitting that we can announce a cruise, but we don't have any permission to sail into various ports around the world, and we're just not going to be able to pull off the cruise. We're not going to be able to do it. And so more and more sailings are being canceled by more and more cruise lines. Here are a couple of images from the Aliaga yard where they basically, disassemble cruise ships. This is where cruise ships are getting scrapped nowadays. We have an image here of a ship from Carnival and a couple of ships that came in from Pullmantur in the last 2 months or so. And it's a sad sight to see for those of us who've sailed on these ships, who've had a lot of memories built up on these ships. But take a good look here. The closer you get, the more you realize the ships have really not been seriously maintained lately. The rust is beginning to show. Carnival, in this case, they're not painting this ship. They're not putting any money into the old one here. That's the fantasy there. And there have been a lot of little things breaking down on her, but the end has arrived. Unfortunately, these ships being built in the early 90s, they just are not economically viable going forward. And I think a number of these ships were kept alive artificially because of the Cuba market. And now that market has disappeared, these ships are not able to really make any money sailing anywhere. There's the Carnival Inspiration squeaking in there between the Fantasy and one of the Pullmantur ships. The nose of the Pullmantur ship has already been disassembled, and unfortunately, these cruise ships, which were at one time the best there was, are now finishing their life cycle, and the steel will be recycled for other uses, and new ships will replace these old ones, and that's the way it goes. Anyway, there it is. Like I say, the Imagination for Carnival looks like she's about to leave Curacao and should be in Turkey by the second week of September. The Majesty of the Seas is sailing just past Portugal. It's headed for Malta officially, but the speculation is that after Malta, she will work her way to Aliaga in Turkey. Thank you for subscribing to my channel, following my videos, giving my videos thumbs up. So I really appreciate it. It's Bruce with Traveling with Bruce. We'll talk to you next time, everybody. Bye for now.